Hey everybody, I was just over on Instagram. I'm just over on by the window, but just on Instagram Live, and so hopefully some of you guys have joined me from Instagram Live over here to YouTube. And I do not. I'm at home for one thing. I'm not in my usual office. I'm in my home office because we are having a snowmageddon here on the East Coast, and it is whiteout conditions and over a foot of snow, and it's absolutely nuts. So I'm having to do this from home today. And I don't have my browser open to see if this feed is actually coming in live and fine. And so if any of you who are joining could pop into the comments and just say hi, and also kind of give me the thumbs up that my feed is coming through, that would be awesome. And so I hope y'all doing well today. It is Monday. I've been working like through the weekends for a few weekends because I'm in the process of launching my first course, and that is going to launch actually this week. And so, hey Laura, welcome. Laura, let me know. The feed's coming through, the audio's coming through, everything's good? Let me know. Just give me a little thumbs up or just all A-OK. That would be awesome. I know there's a bit of a lag time between what I'm saying and what I can see in my chat. But yeah, so what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today is I'm going to talk about the number one way to win clients. And some of what I'm going to talk about is actually going to feed into what I'm going to be doing a webinar on tomorrow. So awesome. Thanks, Laura. So yeah, I'm going to be doing a webinar tomorrow morning. I'm going to put this graphic up so you guys can see it. It's called 3 Secrets to Selling Bigger Creative Projects, and I'm doing it at 11 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, and also 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. And you can sign up for this at the URL that you see right at the bottom of the screen right here, and you also see a little smaller on this slide right here. If you go to philipvandusen.com/BS101, you will be taken to a landing page that will tell you in greater detail what my webinar is about tomorrow. And it's also leading into launching my first course, Brand Strategy 101. And so I hope you guys will go check that out. It's going to be really cool. I'm going to share a lot of really great content. I'm going to be touching on some of the themes of that content in what I'm going to share with you in just a few minutes. But if you haven't gone over and registered for that webinar, I encourage you to do that. There's also going to be an encore presentation of that next week towards the very end of the open cart cycle for the course. But that's kind of like for anyone who can't make these first two. So if you can, I'd love to see you in this webinar tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. It's also at the same time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. And you can register for either of those times, either of those dates, at this URL, philipvandusen.com/BS101/BS101. Okay, that's just a quick heads up about that. So how are you guys doing? Some of you I know came over from Instagram where I was just on live. I see Brian. Brian was over there. Likers was over there. Rio de Janeiro, awesome, absolutely. Kat is here. Burger's here. Elajan is here. Laura gave me the big thumbs up for actually my feed coming through. I really appreciate that from you, Laura. Welcome, you guys. This was a totally last minute live. It was like I decided to do this morning when I woke up, and I kind of put together the thumbnail and the content and what I was going to share about and posted it all over the place and got it all set up in about an hour and a half. And so it came to very, very quickly. Hey, Daniel. Good to see you, Daniel. I just had a call with Daniel about just a couple days ago. And so I know Daniel a lot better now than I did before. Lady Liz, Mr. Goat, welcome. All right, you guys, let's jump into the content. I wanted to share one thing. And that is that I got a comment. I went live just a couple days ago on Friday, actually. And I got a comment on that live from a guy who said, all these chats, are these all coming in? I don't know what's happening with this. This guy left a comment saying, you know, you're rambling a lot. You really got to get to the point faster. You should use speaking notes. You should like have some bullet points in front of you so you can like get to the content. And I just responded back to him. I said, look, I've got 250 videos on my channel where I give a boatload of content within about 8 to 10 minutes. And that is my rapid fire content on like drinking from a fire hose type of content platform. When I go live, I try to be just a little bit more myself, a little less scripted, a little more conversational, because I think that, you know, people want to see the authentic person as well as the scripted person. So that's why I do it this way. And if any of you guys are here because I do it that way, I'd love to hear that, because, or if you come to my lives and want me to like dive into the content from the second I hit the go live button. So when you join 3 minutes later, I'm already 3 minutes into the content. Tell me that too, because maybe you come back and watch the videos and you want it to like get to the point really quickly. I'd love to know that. I'd love to know that feedback. That's just how I approach my lives, because I just like to be a lot more relaxed when I do it, rather than all like, you know, scripted and on point. I mean, I think for the most part, I get to the content pretty quickly. I mean, I'm only 5 minutes in, right? And so if you're used to my lives, you can also just jump 5 minutes ahead in the video. So when I start getting to the content, right? Thank you, Laura. I appreciate that. South Africa, good vibes. Awesome. 10 p.m. All right. Thanks, Liz. Thanks for staying up and staying on for me. Wajahat, good to see you. One of my diehard subscribers. Wajahat is awesome. Elajan, I'm here because I like you the way you are doing it. Okay, well that's cool. And because I'm home, and you know, you're seeing not my usual office, you're seeing my actual home office, where I actually spent the first year of my digital entrepreneurship. I spent in this office before I started going to co-working. A lot of my earliest, probably 50 or 75 videos are filmed in this room. Before I started going to co-working, before I started renting an external office, of which I've been in a couple rented offices now. This is kind of where it all started. But it's so funny that I don't work here anymore. I work in my office, so I'm not used to being on video or, you know, be doing work here in this space anymore. I've now separated my home and my office. I've separated my personal and my professional life. So it's just funny that because of this snowmageddon snowstorm that we're in right now, I'm kind of like, back where I started. All right. So Jarmello, good to see you. Jarmello is another name that I recognize. All right, so let's talk a little bit about how to win clients. Number one way to win clients. You guys with me? All right, so I'll jump past that slide. The number one way to win clients, and I'm going to try to keep up with my slides. As you guys know, I sometimes get behind in my slides. But I use the word win specifically because I'm not going to share content on how to find clients. I'm going to share content on how to win clients. So this is after you've made the connection. Hey, Peter, good to see you. Going to get pounded with snow. Yes, we are getting slammed with snow in New Jersey. Like we haven't had a snowstorm like this since, I don't know, I've been here 5 years and it's never been like this. So this is going to be about winning clients, not finding clients. So this is after you've gotten a connection, after you're going to have that first discovery phone call. You're going to make that first connection. It's not about cold, it's not about content marketing. It's not about direct messaging people or making client lists. This is about how to win them once you're talking to them. And so one of the best ways and the most important parts of winning a new client is in the discovery conversation. And I use the word discovery pretty loosely. Sometimes I mean discovery in terms of the very first phone call that you have with people, the very first Zoom that you have with people, where you are introducing yourself, you're sharing a bit about your agency, what you do, how you can help people. You're asking questions of them in terms of their business. There is that where you give a ballpark price, or you either kind of hook them in or scare them away before you get too deep and take too much of your time engaging in that conversation. But so, as I said, discovery is a loose term, right? So this could be the very first conversation. When you have first get to know you conversations with clients, some people talk for, half hour, 45 minutes. Some people try to keep it very short, so they're not investing a lot of time unless they know that it's a very, very warm lead, or it could definitely go somewhere. There's nothing worse than diving into a long conversation about somebody's business and hearing their challenges and all that sort of stuff just to find out that they have a minuscule budget, or they have really no idea of what it costs to do the thing that they want done. But so in discovery, one of the best things and one of the most important things that you do is that you're asking the right questions when you're talking to a prospect. You want to be talking about, first of all, the background of their business. So how long have they been in business? What's their revenue? Number of employees? Where do they do business? Is it online? Is it in physical retail? You also want to dig a little bit into their motivations. What were their motivations, both in their business, what's their purpose, what's their mission, but also what were their motivations in reaching out or engaging with you? What are they kind of in their gut looking to do? You also want to dig in and ask really good questions about ask good questions about their problems. So, and I'm going to elaborate on this a little later as I get into the content a little bit more, but you want to kind of dig into what is the problem that they're looking to solve. And I'm going to touch on that deeper in just a few minutes. You also want to ask them about their successes. What have they been successful with, and what have they not been so successful with? Because that can uncover some pain points for them that you're going to want to make sure that you either, as you talk to them, that you steer clear of them, or that you address them as a way to get in with them, right? How you can solve that problem for them, how you can make it smoother in areas where they've gotten friction in their business. You also want to ask them about their top priorities. So what are their goals for the business? 6 months, 1 year, 5 years. And kind of dig into a little bit about their competition. So do they know who their competition is? Who is their competition? Are they companies that are larger than them? Are they companies that are smaller than them? Who are they? Because that is an incredibly telling question. If clients, prospects, know really well who their competition is, or whether they have generally a vague idea, that can be a gigantic opportunity for you. So, sorry, I'm trying to click ahead. Come on. All right. One of the themes of this discovery call is that, hey, Daniel, thank you so much. Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate that. And Daniel, if you have a question later, I'll make sure to prioritize your question. And for anybody, if as I'm talking through what I'm talking about, if you want to have me to look at a question that you have, make sure to type the word question in all caps before your question. So in the chat, if you have a question, type it in all caps before your question, so I can scroll back through the chat and recognize where a question is very easily when we get to the end, okay? So as Daniel just did, as you might see in the chat, Daniel just gave me a little tip in my tip jar. And so there's a little $sign at the bottom of the chat window on YouTube that if you click on it, you can donate and buy a super chat. And what that is just a little bit of a monetary support for what I'm here giving away for free. And if you want to do that, I really, really appreciate it. And I guarantee that I remember the people who do that for me. And I always prioritize their input and their engagement in my lives. So back to active listening. And Peter will be glad to see that I'm working the Red Bull. Listening is the most important thing that you do in a discovery call. Questions are important, but listening is more important. And I'm going to tell you a bit of a story. Some of you might have heard this study before, but they did a study where they took two guys. And it might have been, I can't even remember, it might have been the same guy, but they put him in a cocktail party situation. They told one of them, they said, when you go into this cocktail party situation, you are only supposed to ask questions of the other people. You are not supposed to talk about yourself at all. And then the other person, they said, when you go in, you want to, have a normal conversation, talk about yourself, share what you do, what you're up to, where you live, your family, all that sort of stuff. And so after those individuals engaged in the cocktail party, they interviewed the people that those people had talked to. And what they discovered was that the people who had talked to the person that only asked questions, they thought that that individual was smarter, more accomplished, and more likable in comparison to the person who just normally talked about themselves and what they did. That even though that person never shared any personal details about themselves or really kind of offered any information up other than just acting interested and listening and asking questions, they were viewed as being more accomplished, nicer, more likable, and more professional. And I always have been blown away by that study, because what that says to us is that people love talking about themselves. They love for people to be interested in them. And that interest, that likability of people being interested in you will come back to their thoughts of you. So in active listening and asking those questions, you are setting up this subliminal reciprocity, which I call, where they want to give back to you. And they feel all warm and fuzzy. They think you're smart. They think you're accomplished. And it reflects very, very well on you to ask questions and really, really actively listen. So what are the, when you're listening, sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts together. When you're listening, what you want to be listening for is the underlying themes of their answers. So are they looking for sales? Are they looking for traffic? Are they looking for awareness on their brand? Are they worried about their competition's encroachment on their business? What is it that they're not saying? What is that undercurrent that you can sense when you're asking them these questions? What are they not asking for that you may sense that they actually need? And this is going to filter into something we're going to talk about in just a minute, which is that they are going to be coming to you with a problem that they think they have. They're coming and they're saying, I need a YouTube channel. I need a podcast launched. I need a social media marketing plan, or I need, brand identity. I need a new website. I need a new blog set up. They're going to come to you with a problem or some sort of deliverable that they want from you. But by asking deep questions and really listening to the answers, a lot of times you will find that the results they are looking for are not actually the results that are going to be achieved by what they're asking you for. Meaning, what they're asking you for, what's the real problem? See, I'm behind. Is what you asking for actually going to solve the problem? And you have to act like a little bit of a detective there, because what they want may not necessarily be what they need. So if they're coming to you and they're saying, I want this result, and I want a website, you might, through your conversation and questioning them, find out that the website that they want is not actually the thing that's going to solve their problem. They might say, okay, let's dig into that just a little bit. They may say, I want more website traffic. And so I need a new website. My website is old. It looks lame and, it's too dated. And so I need more traffic. So I need a new website. Well, when they want more website traffic, you have to dig into that and kind of go to the next level and say, why do you want more website traffic? Do you want more sales? Do you want more leads? Do you want more email subscribers? Do you want more awareness? Do you want people to recognize your brand when they see it on social? Is it a reputation thing? Is it a perception thing? No. And then they go, oh, well, actually, what I really want is I want more people to contact us. I want more people to fill out our contact form and call our sales guys. Well, getting more traffic on your website might lead to more calls to your sales guys. A new website might, jazz everybody up and lead to more calls to your sales guys. But maybe it's not traffic. Maybe it's the customer journey on the website by itself. Maybe, they don't explain what they do in a problem solution kind of way. Maybe it's not really clear that they want the people who come to their website to click a button that, takes them to a contact form. There might be a communication problem in the customer journey that even if you kept the website totally the same, the design totally the same, and you change some of the copy around, it might, or change the color of the buttons, or made it easier for them to get to the contact form, that might actually be solving the problem rather than the new website. So you have to act a little bit like a detective. See, I jumped ahead. So you need to act like a detective. You need to dig in, ask the questions, but then you need to dig deeper. Ask what the result is that they want. You know what they're asking you for, a new website, new whatever. Ask the result. And then as you think about the result and what they're asking for, you have to dig in deeper to see what is the actual action that they want to see happen in their business. And then you have to architect what that solution is. So you have to be the detective asking for the real answers, and then you have to act like an architect to architect the solution. You have to parse the problem and you have to design a solution. That is what they are coming to you for. And improving your abilities at doing that sort of work on the fly when you're having a conversation is the sort of work that you want to really, really practice at. Because that is where the gold lies. That is where the bigger projects lie. That is where you're getting paid more for what you're bringing to the table. That's where that lies too. You are the expert. You have to nurture your expert skills. You have to nurture your ability to communicate. You have to nurture your ability to be a detective and dig down and ask the right questions. You have to nurture your ability to be an architect of the solution. And you have to act like it. And acting like it is what instills confidence in clients. What instills confidence in clients is you're acting interested. So we started there, right? You're acting interested. You're asking questions. You are digging down and trying to find out the result that they want to achieve. And you are caring about them achieving that result. You are architecting the solution. You're acting like a detective, and you're actively architecting the solution that's going to get them the result they need, even if it might not be the thing that they think they need to get there. Sometimes it might be. Sometimes they might be totally right. But I find out lots of times that there may be a slight disconnect between what the client's actually asking for and the result is that they're going to get from it. And by acting as this expert and going into this level of conversation with people, you become seen as a truer, deeper business partner, and they start to instill you, the idea of you, with this level of trust. And as you're doing that, you also need to start selling. None of us like selling, right? Absolutely none of us like it. No one likes selling. I don't even think salesmen like selling. I certainly don't. And so the way that you do sales is you don't do sales. You do caring. You do detective work. You do question asking. You dig in and you try to solve the problem and come up with the architected idea of what needs to be done on the fly. Sometimes you may need to circle back and say, okay, this is great information. Let's have a call tomorrow or in a couple days, and I'm going to shoot you out some ideas. You may need to go off and kind of parse everything that they told you in your head and come up, maybe bounce it off some colleagues or someone you know, and come up with what you think is going to be the solution for them. I guarantee you that even if you end up where you were in the fact of what they were asking you to do in the first place, that process of asking them those questions will put you at a different level in their eyes. And then once you architect that solution or what your proposed solution is, you need to own it and you need to really sell in that idea to them. You have to be able to communicate what the ROI of that work is going to be and why it's going to be that way. So, and you need to sell it. So just a tad behind on my slides. So that is what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted to talk about the value of this discovery call. And this is a bit of a teaser. Like I said, it's a bit of a teaser into what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow in the webinar that I'm putting on. I'm doing a webinar tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific time. And if you go to philipvandusen.com/BS101, boy, Sam 101, you can register for this webinar. There's 2 dates, Tuesday and Wednesday, both at 11 a.m. If for any reason you live in, another time zone or another part of the world, and that's a very inconvenient time for you, what I recommend you doing is registering for the webinar anyway, because what will happen is if you attend or even if you don't attend, you will get an email that links to the replay video. So there will be a replay video if you can't make it actually live. And I recommend that you sign up for the webinar because you'll be able to catch the webinar replay video later. And I'm going to be talking about what I've kind of started to touch on in this live, but at a deeper level of detail. And I'm going to be talking about kind of 3 main category themes of secrets that are going to lead to bigger design projects for you, where you can sell larger projects or expand the scope of the projects that you're talking to clients about, and also how you can charge more for the work that you're currently doing, as well as the thinking. And this is what I was talking about just now, which is in that discovery call where you're acting like a detective and you're architecting the solution and you're owning being an expert. You are contributing valuable thinking to your clients, which you should get paid for. And that's what we're going to start talking about, how you can get paid for your thinking in addition to your creative work. And here's the really interesting thing, and I want you guys to really pay attention to this one, which is when you start getting paid for your thinking, the value of the creative work that you do goes up. When you start swimming upstream, and I'll tell you what I mean by swimming upstream, when you start elevating the level of engagement, partnership, and thinking that you're offering your clients, the value of the creative work, whatever that creative work is, the value of that goes up. You can charge more for it if you're offering that level of partnership. Okay? And so that's what I really want to drive home with you guys. And that's what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow in this webinar. And at a deeper level, that's what I'm going to be talking about in my course. I'm going to be teaching you a process and a toolkit and a system to be able to deliver that to clients. Now, this URL, philipvandusen.com/enroll, this is the landing page for the course for Brand Strategy 101, which I'm launching in just a couple weeks. Actually, I'm starting to sell it tomorrow, and it's going to actually start happening in a couple weeks. And if you go to this webpage, you can learn a lot more about what the course is going to be about. But you can't actually buy it yet because it's not open. So if you click on the buy thing, you're not going to be able to buy it, or you're going to get some error message. It's not going to go live purchasable until tomorrow. But if you're curious about what this course is going to be about, you can go onto this URL and learn about it. But if you come to the webinar tomorrow, you are going to really, really get a picture into the depth of what I'm going to be covering. And you're going to be able to hear it from me directly and personally. So that's what I was going to share with you today. So I will take some questions. If you guys have any questions about what I covered in this content today, I'd be happy to answer them. And I'm seeing so many familiar names. It makes me so happy. Mariana, it's good to see you. Mariana, and I know she doesn't care if I out her on this. Mariana was a member of Brand Design Masters Guild number 2. Or was that one? Number 1. 1. And she's an awesome designer down in Florida, and she saw amazing gains and move inertia forward after she joined the Brand Design Masters Guild, which is my paid mastermind group. I'm going to actually take this off. Nope, sorry, wrong one, wrong slide. I'm going to put this on. Going to take that off. I'm going to take this off, that off. Just real quickly, the Brand Design Masters Guild, I'm actually actively forming Guild number 4. There's someone in this chat right now who's already kind of gotten that going and joined in. But the Brand Design Masters Guild is my paid mastermind group that's 12 weeks long, and it's an incredible experience. The next one is going to be launching probably around in April, but I'm doing kind of pre-filling interviews for it now. So if you're interested in joining a 9-person, very tight, very intimate paid mastermind group, you can go to this URL. It's not the best URL, but I think it'll work. Anyway, you can also go to philipvandusen.com/mastermind and get there if you want to find out more about it. That was just a complete afterthought that I thought I'd throw that up there. But in the meantime, I'm going to leave this up there, which is the URL so you can check out the masterclass tomorrow. All right. So with that, if anyone has any questions, please just type question in all caps in the chat. And I'm going to just scroll back really quickly through to see if anyone had any questions. I thought I saw at least one come in while I was Grady, thank you so much. Grady says, discovered your channel not too long ago, and thank you for putting out such valuable content. I really, really appreciate that. Okay. All right. Daniel asks, with a client's website, should everything be within 1 or 2 clicks? What's the max? Okay. So Daniel, here's what I'll tell you. In my experience recently, in clients that I've been working with, is when people land on a website, the average landing page kind of how long they stay on a landing page before they bounce is anywhere from about 5 to 10 seconds. So you might get a mouse scroll or 2 before they bounce. 85% of people who land on a website don't ever get to a second page. And this, I'm talking about business websites, B2C websites. So number one, you want them to land on the page that you want them to be on. You don't want to send them to your homepage and expect them to kind of find a menu and find the next page that they have to be on. You want them landing on the page that you want them to be on. And if you're going to lose 80% of people if they have to click to get to another page. So that being said, the less clicks, the better. So if you're expecting the people to get 2 clicks in or 2 pages in to find something, that's going to be some heavy lifting unless they're really sure that that's something they really want to do when they're coming to your website. Okay? All right. I'll answer this question. Edu asks, what's the best way to approach a new potential client via LinkedIn? That is a very good question. And I just had an extensive conversation with one of my coaching clients about this. Very good question. the best way to approach a new client on LinkedIn is by giving them something for free that they weren't expecting. And if you're, you've connected with somebody and you want to say hi, send them a piece of curated content. Send them an article that you think they might be interested in. Something for free. Very low engagement for them. So it's just like, I saw this article. I saw your website, see you're into this business. I found this article that I thought was interesting because of X. You might want to check it out. 3 sentences and a linked article. Very low engagement, no heavy lifting for them. There's no ask, there's no pitch, there's no nothing. You're just giving them something that's of value to them. And Edu, you do this 3 times over 3 weeks or every 3 or 4 days. If you do it every week, your name's popping up, but it's not enough to be obnoxious. And so you send them an article or something you think is interesting with just 1 sentence of why you think that they would enjoy it. You do that 3 times. And what happens is they get to know who you are, your avatar. They recognize your name. And then you might do one that says, oh, by the way, I do this, for a living. And, if you're ever curious, here's a link to a recent project that I did that you might be interested in because it reflects this sort of work, which, might be good for you. I know that wasn't a very good way of articulating it, but what I meant to say was on the third time around of giving absolutely, no pitch, just value, you can afford to have a slight ask, or you can start to allude to what it is that you do and the kind of value that you could offer them. I think that is always the best way to approach a potential client on LinkedIn, is giving value multiple times for free that's entertainment or education for them. So when they see your name coming across, they already know who you are and they're not going to be as affronted by it. I get pitched by people on LinkedIn all the time. And I can't tell you how obnoxious it is when someone comes out of the woodwork, they connect with you, and then they immediately pitch you or send you their website. I'd like to work for you, or I do this kind of video editing work. Do you ever use this? I want to partner with you on X. Boom, like right out of the gate. No, it's like going to a bar and like hitting on somebody and saying, hey, let's go to my place, before you even say hello, before you buy them a drink, before you chat them up a little bit. It's like, just have a conversation, get to know somebody, because you can't just like do that, right? Okay, so that's that. I hope that helps you. Yes, very different backdrop, Mariana. Just log in. What has been said already? Sorry. Okay, sorry about that, Starlin. You're gonna have to go back and you're gonna have to look at the video to see what's been said already. There you go. I'm going to put this up there. Mariana said, I sent an article I found very interesting to Chris Doe. And I mentioned how I listened to his podcast and why, I said why you should read it. He said, thank you. He said it was an excellent article. And if Mariana does that 2 or 3 times, Mariana's name is going to come higher on Chris's radar. And that's the way to do it. Okay, so if there are any other questions, please hit me up within the next 20, 30 seconds. Otherwise, I'm going to bolt because I've got to put in a little practice time for my webinar for tomorrow. And I really hope you guys come and join me because I'm going to be sharing some very cool stuff, some cool thinking. And here is the URL, philipvandusen.com/bsboysam101. You can register for the webinar either for Tuesday or Wednesday. And I'd love to see you there. If you can't make it, register anyway, and you will get an email for a replay video so you can catch it in, a time that's more convenient for you. And I hope to see you guys there. It's going to be a lot of very good content. It's going to be closely associated to what I shared with you today, but even just a little bit deeper. And then I'm going to share with you the the way that you can work with me more closely and get some of this value to the point where you can really understand it. You have the tools, you have the processes, you have the resources that you can put it into action day one in your business. And so that's what the whole point of this is. All right. Peter says, I'll see you Wednesday. All right. Gutty, I'm going to throw this up here just because you asked another question. What are some of the other platforms that are optimal for finding new clients? I personally think LinkedIn is probably the best platform for finding new clients because people are there for business. People are expecting to be pitched, and that's their focus while they're there. The other thing about it is that you can post content there in the LinkedIn feed using hashtags so it shows up in people's feeds. And it's not as noisy as Facebook. It's not as obnoxious as Facebook. And as a creative person, it's not as populated with creative as Facebook or any other platform. LinkedIn is so dry in a lot of ways that if you are following and engaging with clients, but as a creative professional, your content and what you share creatively is going to shine a lot brighter than it does on almost any other platform because it's LinkedIn. So that's why I recommend LinkedIn to all the creative professionals that I work with, because it is a place where people are there for business, and as a creative, you can totally shine really brightly. Here's the other thing, is that a lot of creative people don't know how to use LinkedIn to its best advantage, which is another thing that's working in your advantage. Is if you know how to use it correctly, know how to leverage its capabilities, it can really, really, really serve you. So I'm just going to say LinkedIn. That's it. That's the platform. All right, you guys. Wajahat, good to see you. Daniel, Travis, Peter, Starlin, Brian, Mariana, Bailey, Berger, Edu, Likers. Good to see all you guys. It's been really great, really fun joining you from the home office, new, old place. And I hope you guys have a great day wherever you are in the world. And I'm going to see you tomorrow at my webinar, 3 Secrets to Selling Bigger Creative Projects. Okay? So until then, you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.